Missing his third straight game, it's a big loss no matter what.
And he gave them size on the wing. When you're going up against a guy in Jaron Pierre Jr., you can go like size. Now, Boston College having to play really small around the perimeter.
BC has lost 7 in a row overall. They have lost 16 straight ACC road games. They're last in the ACC in scoring, and they're facing arguably one of the best offensive teams in the country. And that was tipped out of bounds by SMU. It'll stay with BC. We look at starting lineups. All 5 starters for SMU average double figures in scoring. Washington shooting 50% from 3 in league play. Pierre and Miller both on heaters. And B.J. Edwards can fill up the box score in every way. There is Fred Payne missing with the right hand on the layup. Last touch, BC. Last time out, SMU dropped 95 on Louisville, one of its best wins of the season, in a game that Andy Enfield told us was the best half of basketball he's been a part of as a coach.
It was an absolutely terrific ball game. Nice pass by Pierre, and Yigitoglu has to be good today for this SMU team. They have the size advantage inside, especially when my man's standing about 7'2".
BC has Fred Payne, who's its leading scorer. Chase Forte making his 3rd straight start. He takes Donald Hand's place in the lineup, and Bowden Kapke, who's got the ball now, averaging close to 11 a game in league play. Here is Luka Taves driving on Miller, gets free, and misses the tough 2. Battle for the rebound, and Hastings lost it out of bounds, but last touch on SMU. Now, one thing Earl Grant, BC's head coach, preached: maturity on offense. Now, SMU's not a great defensive team. If there's a good shot early, take it. If it's not there, don't rush a bad shot, which could lead to transition for SMU. Payne open for 3. No, and BC cold early, but SMU turned it over.
Andy Enfield not happy with that. He's been a terrific coach for a long time now, all the way back to Dunk City at USC for a little while, and now at SMU. And he's got a talented team filled to the brim with offense. Got to finish defensive possessions, which has been a weakness at times.
BC, a quad 3 opponent for SMU as Pierre comes up too strong. And that's significant, T.O., because you lose to a quad 3 team. It pretty much negates what you did Tuesday against Louisville.
100%. This is a must-win situation for the home team. SMU, putting a strong resume for an NCAA tournament, has to take care of business.
Meanwhile, Kapke knocks down the 3. The Butler transfer shooting 30% from 3 on the season. Boopie Miller leads the ACC in assists. Pierre to Yigitoglu, who's got all 4 for SMU.
And Earl Grant pleading with his team to load up the strong side. If they can help, he's willing to live with some of these overhelp and long passes. Can't give up a dunk close to the rim like that.
Taves off the Kapke screen. Now Forte. Too much, and the rebound by Yigitoglu. Yigitoglu! Oh, look out. Fouled by Kapke. Almost brought the roof down on Moody Coliseum.
I love the transition offense by SMU, and when the big fella runs, you reward him. And Yigitoglu, last game against Louisville, had a couple of plays around the rim where I'm not going to say they were soft plays, but he didn't exactly go up to dunk them. A shift in his mentality. Not just right there, but earlier today in shoot-around, you could see a little bit more of assertiveness around the rim. It's going to be a big point of emphasis for him.
7-2 from Istanbul, Turkey. Missed the free throw, only 54% on the season. Spent a couple of years playing in Turkey's top professional league. Missed them both. On the rebound to Taves. Chase Forte, leading scorer at South Dakota last year, 9 in maroon. Now Fred Payne. We welcome those of you who just watched Pitt and Notre Dame, and Corey Washington with a spinning layup to make it 6-3 SMU. Anish Shroff, Terrence Oglesby, the Mustangs coming off one of their best wins of the season. They dropped 95 Tuesday against a very good Louisville team. BC has lost 7 in a row overall. They have not won an ACC road game in almost 2 years, and Jaron Pierre draws the foul on Fred Payne. 2 shots coming. Well, for Earl Grant, BC's head coach, he wants to limit what we just saw. Wants to keep SMU out of transition.
100%, and what a great way to enter this game if you're watching on television. Then 2 transition buckets, 1 foul, 1 easy layup for SMU. That's what they strive to do, create turnovers and get out and run. And the man at the free throw line, Jaron Pierre Jr., a terrific scorer. One of the better isolation scorers that we have in the ACC.
In the month of February, he's averaging almost 21 a game, shooting better than 50% from the field, 39% from 3. He's gone for at least 20 points in 4 of the last 5 games, and T.O., he has been a walking, breathing SportsCenter top 10 highlight.
It's been amazing. He gets ahead of steam out in transition, and he's liable to tear the rim off. Just a gifted scorer. Transfer from Jacksonville State. Can score at all 3 levels. I hate when people say that, but with him it's applicable because he's able in isolation situations to create his own look. And at the end of the shot clock, it's such a luxury to have a guy you can just give the ball to.
Fred Payne, the corner 3. It's good. He had 4 triples Tuesday in a game against Florida State. One where BC led by 14 midway through the second half before losing by 8 as Boopie Miller slices right through the defense. And TOBC is without one of its significant pieces, Donald Hand, who at the start of the season came into the year as BC's best player. It's been a bit of a struggle, but it's a big loss offensively for BC. Payne, catch and release, in and out. Hastings, the rebound, knocked out of bounds. It stays with the Eagles. Samet Yigitoglu, couple of early buckets for SM. Entertainment factor.
Oh.
As fun to watch as you'll find in Division I. It's like taking one of those aorta-ripping energy drinks and then adding a triple shot of espresso on top.
No aorta left. No aorta left.
You're just down to ventricles. That first half Tuesday against Louisville was as good of a first half of offensive college basketball as you'll see.
Oh, absolutely. They went about 9.5 minutes without a foul call. And Taves is pushing off, and I think
they get Boopie with the foul, but you saw Taves put his hand on Boopie's chest.
I'm not really sure what Miller's supposed to do there. He's pushing him with an open hand away. I mean, you can't punish Boopie Miller for playing hard. Andy Enfield feels the same way I do. Jaden Hastings, number 22, is an interesting piece. He was a guy who really improved over the last season. Really athletic at 6'9", 6'10". He's got his hands full today, though.
Taves beats the shot clock and hits the 3. Statistically, their best three-point shooter at 44%.
He's a guy who played on the Japanese senior national team last summer. Saw action. He's efficient. Sometimes he tends to hang on to the ball a little too much. Nice pass off a set play for SMU.
Yeah, too easy for Pierre.
Speaking of another young, talented player, number 10 who made the pass, Jaden Toombs, a freshman, has had some quality moments this year. This is fun.
Forte knocks down the 3. BC, in their loss Tuesday at Florida State, a game where they led by 14 midway through the second half before losing by 8. One of their best three-point shooting games of the season. Forte the steal. Here comes Payne. Back to Forte. Lines it up. Another offensive rebound for BC. Taves off the side of the rim. 6 offensive boards for the Eagles early on. And Payne comes up with a steal. Payne against Miller to the right hand. And that might be a goaltend. It is. 2 points for Boston College.
Boston College playing well on the offensive end of the floor. Earl Grant told us you have to take the first best shot. That's one at the end of the shot clock, fine, but they continue to move the ball Jazz Forte, this is a guy that was the Summit League Defensive Player of the Year last season. We're going to take another look at this goaltend here. How about the athleticism by Jermaine O'Neal Jr. and his head at the rim.
And Earl Grant told us with Donald Hand out and Forte getting the starts now, well, Forte better equipped, more playing time, shorter leash. That's what he was used to a year ago at South Dakota. Yigitoglu using the pump fake. No, Toombs missed the follow. 30 in maroon, Caleb Steger. He has a large cheering section in-house today, a Dallas native.
Went to Jesuit High School. The varsity's here, the JV's here. He's got 10 aunts in the crowd. He brought all of Dallas. That isn't an SMU fan.
A long three by Payne. Air ball.
It is windy in Dallas.
Pierre at the other end. Win get that one too. Boopie Miller. Jermaine O'Neal in and out. Yigitoglu keeps it alive. Boopie leads the ACC in assists, and he finds Toombs.
Really nice shot by Jaden Toombs. I like this lineup versatility that SMU has at times. They can go big with Toombs at the 4, Yigitoglu at the 5. Gives them a lot of size in the front court, and it helps them on the glass.
Nearly stolen away by Jermaine O'Neal Jr. Dad, a 6-time NBA All-Star, played 18 seasons in the league. Shot clock down to 4. Now they got to put it up. Steger spinning, contested, and that's a shot clock violation. It did not hit the rim. Well, you brought up Jaden Toombs, T.O., and he's only a freshman, but when he's played well, it gives SMU an element off the bench. This is a team that gets most of its production from the starting 5.
That's absolutely right. And Corey Washington, we haven't even talked about him yet. It's 5 guys for SMU that do the bulk of their offensive scoring, sure, but when Jaden Toombs plays well and Jermaine O'Neal is able to help out, it really helps things.
Boston College has no answer for SMU inside. Yigitoglu and Toombs both cooking.
I think the big thing is, too, Anish, is SMU scoring off set plays. Back screens to the cup, quick rolls. They're having some success. They slow it down and run their options, they'll be okay.
14 points in the paint for SMU. The other coming from the free throw line, but BC hanging around against the Mustangs. Boopie Miller, before we went to break, picked up his second foul, so he goes to the bench with 2 fouls. Kapke on the inside gives BC the lead. And T.O. Miller comes into the game leading the ACC in minutes per game. That's a big loss. He is the catalyst of this great SMU offense.
And with him out of the game, I would venture to guess SMU is going to run a little bit more offense in the half court. Not quite as quick with him off the floor.
Washington on the drive. Played at Wichita State last year, spent some time at St. Peter's as well. All-conference player at both stops.
SMU, if they've been patient with their offense, they're getting whatever they want. Nice attempt from Boden Kapke, who's showing a little bit of game here, Anish.
There's Boopie on the bench with the 2 fouls. Jaden Toombs just picked up his first. When we talked this week, you brought up the point about BC on Tuesday against Florida State. No Donald Hand. The team had been in a free fall. They battled. They play hard. They have not quit on Earl Grant. They're still fighting out there.
There's still a collective competitive spirit with this group right now. And Boden Kapke, the last 10 minutes of the Florida State game, it's like the wheels fell off. They played so well down in Tallahassee, just not able to finish it out. A little bit of that comes down to, do they have the depth to compete? And without Donald Hand, that's a huge hit.
And free throws. Kapke gets 1 out of 2. That has been a year-long struggle for BC. In conference play, below 60% from the free throw line. They were 3 of 13 on Tuesday. Washington left alone, in and out. And we get a foul on the floor against BC.
Wasn't a ton of contact. You have to applaud Jermaine O'Neal Jr. going after the offensive glass. He thought he got it pushed in the back. Earl Grant not going to argue too much, and I don't think he should. Good call by the officiating crew.
First down, the Dallas native Steger. Pierre led Conference USA in scoring last year. On the follow, Jermaine O'Neal Jr.
Talk about bounce. My goodness. That first goaltend, he showed a little bit of what makes him special as an athlete. How about the tip dunk? Just floating up around the rim.
6 points from the bench, 4 for Toombs, 2 for O'Neal. Steger knocks down the 3. When we had BC earlier, you thought Steger had a chance to be a really good player at this level.
He's 6'5", he has long arms, has a terrific shooting motion. He has to grow into his body a little bit. But the Dallas native fired up to be here. Talked to his dad, so many family members. Terrific pass by Edwards.
And Toombs with another 2. He's got 6. He's been capable of some big games.
But back to Steger. I mean, this is a guy, a lot of natural talent. Then he get going. This, on the other hand, is playing right into what SMU wants to do. Playing semi-break transition, make something happen quick.
Again, no Boopie Miller on the floor. B.J. Edwards can do it all. Has not been scoring as much lately. Last 4 games, only about 7 points, but in that span, 5.5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals.
Jack of all trades, and he's one of the best defensive players in the conference. And it's off the ball. Talked to him earlier this season on the ACC podcast. This was a guy that, tough shot.
Fred Payne hits.
This was a guy that goes into film study at a high level. Said he brought that from Rick Barnes at Tennessee, and Andy Enfield gave him the opportunity to compete, and he showed him why they should have. Bang!
On cue, ACC podcast, like and subscribe.
Got the legend Tate Frazier running that thing now, for those of you really in tune with the ACC network.
Fred Payne. Shaw, the rebound, the putback, and the foul.
Hey, that's what Aiden Shaw does. This is an effort guy who lives around the rim and on the offensive glass. But we've had a couple of dunks, Shanish, that have been out of this world good. We're going to take a look at this one. Jermaine O'Neal Jr., take a look at number 7 in the corner. Chin at the rim. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, jam. That's ridiculous. Chin at the rim. That's stuff you dream about. And then here, Aiden Shaw, again, attacking the offensive glass. Both teams struggling a little bit, finishing possessions. And Aiden Shaw gets one more.
7 offensive rebounds for BC. The free throw woes continue. Shaw came in at 52%. Now, BC's been able to hang early on. That might be a surprise to many. What are they doing?
Well, it helps when you knock down shots. 6 of 14 from 3 so far. That's opening the floor for some of their quicker players. And whenever you have to go a little bit smaller, especially around the perimeter with Taves, with Forte, with some of these other guys, you have to knock down shots. Because if you don't, it's tough to create any penetration around the rim.
Much better from 3 than 2 for BC. Yigitoglu in there after Toombs picked up his second foul. If that's shakalaka.
I mean, that dunk deserved a boom shakalaka.
Sure did. But it's trademarked, so we'll leave it alone.
No, but so far this game, Boston College has knocked down 3-point shots, already made 6 so far, and they're going to need to do that to compete on the road at a tough place to play in SMU. But you see the physicality that SMU is able to play with, what they've done in the half court as far as their offensive sets. Been outstanding so far, at least moving the basketball. Boston College, though, hanging around and competing.
1 out of 2 for Yigitoglu. The last foul originally given to Kapke, it's been changed. It's now on Shaw. So only 1 foul for Kapke, who remains on the bench, however. Now Luka Taves from 18. He knocks it down. He's been playing better of late, averaging 13 and 5 over his last 3.
Not only that, over those last 3, shooting 49% from the field and 45% from 3. I mean, this is a guy, like I said, he holds on to it a little too long sometimes, but can really get hot from the perimeter.
Edwards with 7. He's taking over some ball handling responsibilities with Boopie on the bench. Taves has had a hand in 17 of BC's 27. The drive, the kick, Forte. Rebound, Yigitoglu. Wide open. O'Neal, no. Washington keeps it in bounds. Second chance. O'Neal blocked down low.
What a pass.
SMU keeps it alive. Edwards for 3. In and out. And a rebound snagged by BC and Aiden Shaw, the Missouri transfer. That one does not fall. The rebound to Edwards.
You see the emphasis for Boston College. Put Yigitoglu in as many ball screen actions as you can and get him out in space away from the rim.
Tough shot there for Edwards, and the rebound corralled by Jason Asamoah, the Baylor transfer.
When this ball moves, Yigitoglu is going to be the guy that's guarding the screener most of the time. They're trying to get him out away from the rim so they can create some speed going downhill.
Asamoah from the outside, not close. Those were the shots Earl Grant wanted to avoid. Washington launches. Rebound Asamoah.
It hasn't been the beautiful brand of basketball that we've come to know and love here in Dallas when watching Andy Enfield's team. Not a whole lot of shot making. SMU only 1 of 7 from 3. Not typical.
Sometimes you get Monet, sometimes it's a Jackson Pollock, and it's just paint splattered on a canvas as we get a foul on SMU.
And now Boopie Miller comes back in the game. And when we talk about some of the shot quality from 3, Boopie Miller puts so much pressure on the paint, meaning the defense has to over-rotate at times, that those shots are about 1.5 feet more open than they typically are when he's on the bench. So you add your playmaker into the game, you add a shooter in Sam Walters who's coming in. Can you get the 3-ball going a little bit?
Now, we saw Boopie Miller early in the game, very aggressive on the ball defensively. He's got 2 fouls, so does that check some of his defensive intensity?
I think the big thing, a lot of coaches are going away from benching their guys for the entire first half with 2 fouls.
That's a great point. Kapke over Toombs, beat the shot clock, missed the shot.
And here's where it changes things, especially on the defensive side of the floor for Boston College. Have to respect where Boopie is at all times.
Toombs wanted space.
It's a really smart play by Sam Walters.
Boopie, baseline, falling away, no. And there's Payne. He is second to Boopie Miller in minutes per game in the ACC. He'll shoot his jumpers and his threes with his left hand. He is a natural righty. And you see that when he goes to the rim, but there is the southpaw from the perimeter.
Fred Payne will hit a shot and tell everybody in Dallas he just made a shot. That's the kind of edge that young man plays with. Love the tenacity and how he approaches it.
Toombs, too strong. BC with a 1-point lead, less than 4 to go in this opening half. Asamoah, a 41% three-point shooter, knocks it down, and the three-point shot has carried Boston College in this opening half.
8 of 8.
UNC, and then Miami goes to Florida State. All of a sudden, Luke Laux has the Seminoles playing some of the best basketball in the ACC. They beat Clemson again today. Florida State is dangerous. B.J. Edwards, no good on the 3, follows his own miss. Edwards, baseline, blocked by Asamoah. It stays with SMU.
I think the big thing, too, is you talk about Luke Laux at Florida State. You and I had their Stanford game, and it was like buy stock now because this team is turning a corner. They're playing quality defense, and he shifted his strategy as far as in-game is concerned to more of the college level. And there's an adjustment process for some of those guys coming back from the NBA. I talked to Andy Enfield about that today. Nice pass, got to finish it. the things that work at the NBA level aren't always conducive to college. You got to tinker with some things. I think Luke Laux is starting to figure that one out. Big win for them at Littlejohn Coliseum in Clemson.
So do you sell the stock now, buy the rumor, sell the news?
That was way too much for me. I just know I'm buying all the Florida State stock I can get my hands on.
Still
How's
buying.
that?
All right, you're still buying.
I'm still buying.
Forte on the drive. Asamoah open for three. He got it, his second triple. And Boston College with a 7-point lead. Remember, this is a quad 3 game for SMU, but Edwards the answer at the other end. He has been the offense ever since Boopie Miller picked up that second foul.
And we're going to take a look at the last few shots, both for Boston College. This was a tough pass. May or may not have been on purpose, but Asamoah, who is a top 40 recruit out of high school from the Boston area. But if you make a three, you better get back. And Earl Grant is on the floor. The officials are going to take a look at it right now. As long as he doesn't touch one of the players, he can receive a warning. If he touches one of the players, automatic technical foul.
Yeah, it is a coach's box warning on Earl Grant. That last three by Edwards, SMU's first made field goal after 10 straight misses. Edwards has 10, Fred Payne with 11 to lead all scorers. He's got it for BC, now gives it up to Forte. Asamoah's knocked down a couple of threes off the bench. Shaw against Yigitoglu, lost control, lost the ball, out of bounds to the Mustangs.
Nice little adjustment. SMU going to full court pressure. Full court pressure back to his zone just to switch the look up. And a lot of coaches, Anish, and a lot of high school coaches especially, well, if a team can shoot it, you don't want to go zone. That's just to change up the rhythm, not necessarily to stop a three-point shot or not. Just change up the rhythm of how Boston College is playing, because offensively they found a little bit.
Especially from three, where they're 9 of 19. SMU just 2 of 11 from three. Boopie Miller contested. Payne bothered the shot. Asamoah has given Earl Grant some nice minutes off the bench.
Certainly has. The transfer from Baylor has been up and down this season. But for Boston College, it comes down to this guy.
Great matchup there, Payne and Boopie. Now Forte with the shot clock inside of 10. Kapke is wide open.
He's due for one a game. I mean, every game I've watched Boston College play, he'll have moments where he'll score 5 to 7 points. Watch out.
Asamoah, no basket, offensive foul.
Got to applaud the effort. Sneaking back, getting a steal. We'll take another look at it. The quick effort to push it up the floor, and Asamoah reads the pass. What a gutsy charge. Was he set? Yes, he was. He took every bit of that. I'm not going to lie to you, Anish. I would have gotten out of the way of that one. That was a freight train.
You would have gone with discretion over valor?
I mean, I would have taken his arms off, but he would have been shooting free throws. There's no charge to be had below Oglesby.
Yigitoglu. Soft touch over Kapke.
You know what the crazy part about that is, Anish, is Kapke's not a small guy. He's every bit of 6'10". Yigitoglu, I mean, he's every bit of 7'2" tall. And again, we see the zone defense here by SMU. It's a 2-3 with the wings up high.
Payne. Kapke. Forte down the lane, bayonets through the D, but he missed. SMU can tie with a 2. Boopie leading the break. Out to Edwards, sets and hits. 13 for Edwards to lead all scores. SMU on top.
You better hit that one.
Against Louisville, this is one of those games where you can't lose. It's a quad 3 game for SMU. A loss pretty much negates what happened Tuesday.
There's a lot of must-wins This one could be considered a can't lose if you're SMU. Fantastic win over Louisville. Sure, have to take care of business against the Boston College team that, as we've seen so far this game, scrappy.
Final 10 seconds, opening half. Kapke tipped into the air. Here's Edwards. He's got 13, kicks to Pierre. He beats the buzzer, and he hits. Jaron Pierre Jr. puts an exclamation point on the first half. SMU closing the opening 20 minutes on an 11-0 run.
Just terrific defense. Shot it about 4 seconds too quick if you're Boston College, but Jaron Pierre, who we know is spectacular in the open floor, finds an easy one to close out the half.
It took about 50% from the field. One of the confounding stats, BC 9 of 20 from 3, 4 of 17 from inside the arc. SMU at home has been superb, 14-2 at Moody. BC has lost 16 consecutive ACC road games. Last win came against Louisville almost 2 years ago. Yigitoglu missed. And we get a whistle.
Yigitoglu is going to get free throws right here. Kapke pushing off a little too much on that offensive rebound. Yigitoglu's a load, man. And he enables SMU to play smaller than your typical ACC team around the perimeter with Boopie, B.J. Edwards, and Jaron Pierre. Every bit of 7-2. Didn't shot a free throw all that well today, though.
1 for 5 at the free throw line. 54% on the season. Yigitoglu, like the rest of the starting 5, averages double figures in scoring. He's up to 8 points. 5-point lead for SMU.
This is what spearheaded SMU's offense in the first half. Late, going to a full court, 3/4 court pressure. Not getting up and trying to create steals per se, just switching up the rhythm of this ball game and making Boston College think on the offensive end of the floor.
Fred Payne, 11 in the first half, knocks down the 3. He's up to 14. Just a great player development story. A guy hurt his first year, redshirted, better last year, and he has had a breakout season this year.
And a lot of people envision Donald Hand Jr. being the guy that's the focal point of this offense. It's been Fred Payne.
And Boopie Miller draws the foul. You mentioned Donald Hand. He is missing his 3rd straight game with a knee injury. And Payne, you can argue, has been their best player this year.
I don't think there's really any question, averaging over 15 points a game. But Donald Hand, last year's most improved player, really struggled out of the gate with his jump shot, shooting in the mid to low 30s from the field. Fred Payne has taken over as option A for this Boston College team and given them some really good games as the season's gone along.
Numbers for Hand, he was shooting 34% from the field, just 23% from 3, 37% last year. And what BC has gone to is Chase Forte in the starting lineup to replace Donald Hand, whose return is expected, but still no timetable.
It's amazing how the 2-3 zone has adapted so much for the modern game. You see number 3 on the bottom of your screen and number 5 at the very top. How high those wings extend out to protect against the 3. That's why.
We told you BC 4 of 17 shooting inside the arc. Does it feel like SMU is daring them to play inside?
Absolutely. Get out there and pressure high. Make them finish over Yigitoglu. You're willing to live with some of those tough shots.
Pierre, Yigitoglu, great position, height advantage, and he uses it.
That's a little left-hand work by the big fella. He has soft touch, and to me, Anish, it's a bit of a mystery as to why he's only shooting in the 50s from the free throw line. The touch looks like it's there. At what point does it start to translate to higher percentages?
10 points for Samet Yigitoglu, the 7-2 Turk. Hastings did not get away with a walk. He thought he did momentarily. An arena full of officials let out a collective groan when the whistle did not blow immediately.
What'd you say, it was free hot dog and free jersey day?
Yeah.
As an earfuls coming from the student section right behind the scores table. Prior to last week, Anish, I had never been to Moody Coliseum. This is a really cool home venue.
No doubt. And a great crowd today. President Bush in the house.
There's real momentum with this program, too.
You think about their on-ramp into the ACC in the major revenue sports. First year in football, they make the college football playoff, and poised in year 2 in basketball to get to the NCAA tournament. Hastings banging against Yigitoglu. He got a piece of it, but a foul.
And this is a nice move by Hastings. If you look at Yigitoglu on defense here, he is pretty good positionally, Anish. If he goes up and tries to block this shot with the left hand, he doesn't get a foul. But because he turns and goes across Hastings' body, it's going to be a foul call. That left hand goes up, he's able to block that shot and probably keep it in play. Got to be able to block shots with both hands coming from a guy with alligator arms and only 6'1". Not the shot blocker. I had one block shot in 2 years of college basketball, so.
Listen, that wasn't your game. You were a perimeter guy, and a very good one at that.
No, but I played with a guy named Mike Palm in Sweden. He was about 6'11". He was a terrific shot blocker. He only went right on offense, but he could block shots with either hand. And because of that, he was able to keep himself in position while still contesting the shot. And Yigitoglu, with all his size and length, should be able to do that as long as he stays disciplined in some of his post defense.
Who was it, Zoolander, who couldn't go left?
He wasn't an MB Turner. Oh, no.
There's Toombs off the steal. Forte called for it. Payne using the screen, gets free, in and out. Here comes Boopie Miller. He's the head of the snake. On the break, draws the contact, and draws the foul.
Man, he is so fast. We talk about 0 to 60 with cars. I'm talking 0 to 60 with Boopie Miller. Look at the explosion. See you in a minute. He gets downhill so fast, the defense has no shot. I mean, what are you supposed to do if you're Luka Toombs right there? Incredibly difficult.
Well, Toombs fouled. It's his second. Boopie, very good free throw shooter, 87%. What's so impressive about SMU's offense, a really good offensive player can shoot 50% from the field, 40% from 3.
Yep.
75% from the line. SMU does that as a team. In ACC play, those are numbers in conference play. 50% from the field, 42% from 3, 76% from the stripe.
It's phenomenal as a team. And they are offensively slanted, sure. But there's not a ton of teams that can score this many points.
And if that's on Boopie Miller, it is. That is number 3 on the ACC assist leader. And does Andy Enfield bring Miller to the bench? He does. Looks like Jermaine O'Neal Jr. is going to check in.
And I like this move. Look, there's 16 and a half minutes left. You get an under 16 media timeout coming. Get him out of the officials' line of sight for about 30 seconds, and you can put him back into the game.
Mark that down. 16-29. SMU up 6. Miller to the bench. Kapke. That ball dead-ended after it hit the glass.
Glenn Kapke's a pretty good player. I mean, transferred over from Butler. Saw him play for D1 Minnesota, where he was a top 75 recruit. And versatile in how he could beat you. You see glimpses of it. We don't necessarily see the consistency. There's a lot of skill there in that 6'10" frame. Nice move.
Pierre Strong to the 10 and a blocking foul. 4th team foul on Boston College. Eagles still hanging around in Dallas.
Amazing day of college hoops. We have an exciting game here, but you talk about Michigan. Elliot Cadeau was at North Carolina last year.
Yeah.
But he's found a situation for Coach Dusty May of Michigan that fits him to a T. He's got size all around him. That front line for the Wolverines is outstanding. They have their hands full with a young man named Cameron Boozer. It's going to be a great matchup.
Has that not become a theme this year amongst the top teams? They all have size.
All
Front
have
court
size. Size wins at the college level. If you can be physical, if you can take care of the glass. Look at what Florida's done this year. It took them a while to get their freshmen going, or not their freshmen, but their guards going. But they're always in games because they're overwhelming on the defensive end and on the backboards.
Shot clock down to 5. BC turns it over. O'Neal on the acceleration draws the foul. I was just about to say, if BC is going to shock some people, the time to make a run is with Boopie Miller on the bench.
100%. But you can't turn the basketball over as Toombs makes his way out of the ball game.
That's 3 on Toombs, so both starting point guards with 3 fouls. You get a look at Boopie Miller there.
And Jermaine O'Neal had a tip dunk in the first half, was as good as you're going to see. And then the second half gets a steal. My man tries to dunk everything. Terrific athlete.
Only a freshman. His dad, a long-time NBA player, 18 seasons. Part of that great 96 draft class with Iverson and Kobe and Ray Allen, Peja, Steve Nash.
Marbury was in that class, wasn't he?
Yeah, you got Marbury, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Antoine Walker. I mean, you go down the list.
Might be as good as this class coming up next year.
This class that is coming out, especially with the freshmen, we have not had a class like that in a long time. Here's Steger, Dallas native. Big cheering section with friends, family, his high school. Pierre Yigitoglu over Hastings, a dozen for Samet Yigitoglu.
He's played well today. And outside of 2 of 6 from the free throw line, Yigitoglu has been a load on the offensive end for SMU, and they need him to be that guy if they're going to shock some people come ACC tournament time. Having that paint presence at the 5 spot, huge.
And BC coming apart. This has been a season-long theme for BC. They've been in a lot of games, and then there's a stretch where it all goes away as O'Neal hits. The Mustangs lead by 12, their largest of the game. Timeout, Earl Grant.
How about the freshman, Jermaine O'Neal Jr.? A coming out party of sorts. He has been terrific. Gets the steal on one end of the floor, and he's still learning the game. He's still putting pieces together, but you see glimpses, right, of the defensive ability. That's where he thrives right now, and his offensive game's still coming together.
Payne is fouled on the floater.
Say this, if you're Boston College, you got to find a way to beat this zone. And SMU's come out in the second half, not playing man-to-man. They need to continue to attack, move the ball quickly, and then you need to attack the gap. So as soon as you catch, there's no catch and hold. Catch and make decisions quickly. Fred Payne, Exhibit A, able to get to the foul line.
And he is one of the better free throw shooters on a team that does not have many.
There's his family.
Louisiana native.
Drove over. Large family contingent here for him. Played high school ball for B.J. Cousinard, the legacy school, Louisiana. Earl Grant told us, he was like, look, Cousinard has called me about 3 guys. I took all 3, and all of them are tough as nails good. Speaking of tough as nails good.
Jaron Pierre knocks down a 3. He's had a strong overall game today, 11 points and then 6 assists. He's been a playmaker much more of late than he was early on.
Like if you're Steger, as soon as you catch it, you need to attack a crease in this defense.
They tried that shot, maybe. Looked like it could have been a pass from the high post. Edwards had a big first half, 13. He's yet to score in the second.
Jaron Pierre over the last 5 or 6 possessions has been noticeably more aggressive.
Right back to the 10. He's got 13. The lead swells to 15. And Steger fouled on the baseline drive. It's Yigitoglu's second.
And if you want textbook ways to snake a ball screen, we're going to take a look at Jaron Pierre He's going to come up as the fill guy, number 5 at the bottom of your screen. Look how he uses this screen. Goes around, snakes it, keeps Fred Payne on his back. And a Gortat screen by Yigitoglu right there opens up the easy layup for Jaron Pierre Jr. This guy is so crafty in how he can score the basketball.
He was the scoring champion in Conference USA last year at Jacksonville State. Well-traveled, 4 schools in 6 years. As that one falls from the outside for BC, they needed that. They hadn't hit a field goal in more than 3 minutes. Fred Payne up to 16 points. Toombs.
There's a lot
minutes off the bench.
There's a lot to like about Jaden Toombs and his ability to make decisions quickly. And B.J. almost got another one.
He leads the ACC in steals, and Shaw flying to the basket, able to draw the foul on Toombs.
Almost kamikaze-like. I'm not sure that dunk attempt had any hope of going in, but look at this. From the ACC logo, not a shot.
And Jaden Toombs is smiling. I think he realizes I didn't really have to be in the way of that one.
My goodness. He is an athlete, though. When he came from Mizzou, those were his highlights. Those were his made buckets for everything at the rim.
In high school, he was a slam dunk contest winner as Boopie Miller re-enters with 3 fouls. Is Boopie Miller a first-team all-conference player in your eyes?
I mean, it's close, right? I think the big thing is...
You thought about it for a while.
I thought about it. It took me a second. No, Boopie's terrific. And the thing is those stats are so loud and the scoring is so good. There's just so many guys in this league this year. And to me, first team all conference is very much a team award as well. Like, you have to win a lot of games. And when you have 18 teams in a league, like, that makes it hard.
Theo, I go back to this. We've had SMU a few times this season. Opposing coaches always bring up his name first. It's a great offense. It starts with Miller. He's the guy you want to deny the ball to. He's the guy that gets them going in transition. He takes the big shots at the end of games as O'Neal knocks down the jumper.
Mid-range maestro right there. Decisive in his action. Catches and goes. Man, just a freshman with tons of potential. He's played fantastic today.
Part of the makeup of SMU, veteran starting 5, young bench. And if Toombs and O'Neal continue to be productive, it gives Andy Enfield more weapons for the stretch run. Asamoah knocked down a couple of threes in the first half. Here comes Pierre. O'Neal. Asamoah got a piece. O'Neal posting up. Asamoah, that's Washington, excuse me. The lob down low for Kapke.
How about Boston College giving SMU a taste of their own medicine? Up and down we go.
SMU will take it. They want to play back and forth. Corey Washington off the feed from Miller. Now that's the danger, right? It's one thing to say we can run. SMU invites the fast tempo.
There's no home run trots after buckets when you play against the Mustangs.
Or bat flips, right? Here's Kapke. No good from 15. And last touch, SMU.
SMU likes to play fast, but Boston College showing a little bit of...
Was in that role last year, is now the head coach at Radford, a Division I school. And a couple of weeks ago, talking to Kress, he said that Andy Enfield told him to go look up how much better is SMU on offense when they reverse the ball at least once. And they found that their shooting percentage went from sub 40 to into the 50s. It was a significant bump as Asamoah throws down a hammer. When they reverse it more than once, it's still in the 50% range in terms of field goal percentage. So that's kind of where David Kress comes into play. A lot of times it's finding the numbers to match up what the eyes are seeing. Andy Enfield will tell them, hey, what does it look like when we're trying to do this, when we play in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock? And then he'll tell you, hey, we're more efficient or we're less efficient, and then they adjust accordingly.
Anytime the defense has to shift, it basically opens up avenues for you to attack the rim. And then you get the defense playing catch-up, so they'll over-rotate, and you're able to find easier shots.
There you go, another ball reversal. And Jermaine O'Neal Jr. on cue with the three.
He's been terrific today. And the thing with freshmen, by the time we get to mid-February, you really understand what they're going to be going into their sophomore season. You've seen what he can do defensively. Zasamoda fires another one up. But his ability to knock down shots and let the game come to him, he's really improved.
He's got 11, 7 in the second half. He and Toombs have combined for 19 off the bench. Make it 22, 3 more for Jermaine O'Neal Jr. Largest lead of the game for SMU.
And a wide smile from O'Neal Jr. on the way back down the floor.
Payne. Asamoah keeps it in bounds. Forte stepped down the line.
But Jermaine O'Neal Jr., we talked about his ability just to function off the catch and keep the game simple. And then he gets another one here in the corner. Knocked down a couple of mid-range shots, got a tip dunk. This second half, he has come alive. And his teammates, I think the big thing is, you know, Boopie Miller, upperclassman, Jaron Pierre, upperclassman, B.J., upperclassman. It takes a little time for a freshman to earn their trust. We're coming up towards the end of the season, and you see the results of all that hard work and those guys starting to trust him. How about another one? Oh, no.
How about the block? Aiden Shaw getting up to swat Jermaine O'Neal Jr. in the corner. Shaw had 3 blocks Tuesday against Florida State.
Yeah, Aiden Shaw, just an incredible athlete.
I mean, Hakeem Warwick, Michael Lee flashbacks as Boopie hits the fadeaway from the baseline.
Impossible to stay in front of. Ball sticking a little bit too much, Anish. When you go up against the zone, it needs to pop around the perimeter, or else you're going to get stuck with the basketball and have dribble the air out of it. That's not the shot you want at all.
Shaw, and a foul called. Yigitoglu thought he had the block.
I thought he had the block.
Washington with the foul.
And I don't think they called it on Yigitoglu. It's coming on Washington, coming across the face. Jamel Spearman, the official up at half court, he walks up to Yigitoglu. It's not on you. Relax. Everything's okay. You're up 21.
Yigitoglu wanted the block. The ACC Women's Basketball Tournament begins Wednesday, March 4th. First round coverage begins at 11 a.m. Eastern with the Nothing But Net crew, and they will provide pre and post coverage throughout the tournament. Shaw missed in both. Worst shooting team from the foul line in the ACC, and they are amongst the worst in Division I. 59% from the line in conference games.
Uh-oh.
To Loud, Miller to Yigitoglu. Mustang Sally's running.
I'm not sure he jumped more than 8 inches off the ground to go get that one. Terrific pass. Nice little Spain action with a back screen to get the open lob. Boston College doesn't communicate quite well enough. This zone has given BC fits.
It has taken away the three-point shot, which BC lived on in the opening half. Payne driving, gets gobbled up by the trees. Here comes Edwards, the lob. O'Neal tried to make Sports Center.
It's been a game of alley-oops. Seems like they're happening every other play.
14 points to lead BC. And then Pierre with a strong overall game. Jermaine O'Neal Jr. off the bench. Jaden Toombs off the bench. Bench production has been a plus for SMU. The last foul on BC was ruled a foul before an actual shot, so this is a 1-and-1 for O'Neal, and he makes the first.
The way he shot it today, it doesn't really matter. Defensively, SMU here in the second half has been really, really good.
You mentioned the zone. Has it been just the zone, or have you seen anything else?
I think the activity within the zone is the biggest thing. But you'll notice in the first half, you know, Boston College knocking down threes, but they're doing it against a man-to-man defense because they were making SMU shift. When SMU's gone to this 2-3, this extended 2-3 across the bottom, they're essentially daring you to attack Yigitoglu in the middle, and it's taking away a lot of their rotation. So they're settling for a lot of tough shots just like that one. And sometimes against SMU, tough shots might as well be turnovers. They're off and racing.
And Boopie Miller back to the foul line. Now, Boston College has struggled to get anything inside the arc. Meanwhile, the SMU bench, 24 points tonight. They came in as a team that relied almost exclusively on the starters for most of its production. Even in the game against Louisville the other night, 95-85, most of the points came from the starting five.
Yeah, and Jermaine O'Neal Jr. today, if they're able to add that type of boost off the bench, this is an SMU team that's a threat for 100 points every single night. He's been outstanding.
Luka Taves, who picked up his fourth to the bench.
You might as well leave him in at this point.
For Boston College, they have not shot it well inside the arc. T.O. in the first half, down 4 at the break thanks to a 9 of 20 shooting performance from 3. So the three-point shot not falling in the second half. They don't hit free throws. How do they get offense?
Well, you continue to try to attack the lane, and Hastings shows a little bit. But we go back again. Yigitoglu, if he goes up and tries to block that shot with the left hand as opposed to the right, he doesn't get called for that foul. But what they've had to do, Boston College that is, they've settled for tough jump shots. And Fred Payne can hit some of those. But they're taking away their easy catch-and-shoot threes because they're essentially just playing top-heavy and leading you into the rim.
BC in conference, 59% from the line, and Hastings, a career 45% free throw shooter. 1 out of 2. Toombs cleans.
And SMU will do this zone when they're big at the 4-5 with Toombs and Yigitoglu together in the game. Man.
The speed of Boopie Miller, he missed, and stays with the Stangs.
I mean, Kapke does some nice things on the floor. You get him in a side ball screen in a step-up situation, my man has no chance. None. I don't know many bigs that do have a chance, but I mean, it was just opening up the floor completely. Got to be able to finish it.
Edwards scored all 13 of his points in the opening half. The ultimate switchblade, 2 triple-doubles this season. Toombs for 3. Rebound Yigitoglu, and it'll be a 1-and-1 as we get a foul.
I always find it funny when Yigitoglu gets called for a foul, he just starts walking over to the bench. Like he knows he's in trouble. It's like a kid walks to the corner. Or my kids just start marching to their room.
You see it often with dogs when they know they did something bad and you look at them and they give you that puppy dog face. The tail goes between their legs. The head is down.
They didn't even bother arguing. He just started walking over to his seat.
So Hastings to the line, redshirt sophomore. Again for BC, no Donald Hand, missing his 3rd straight game with a knee injury. Got hurt against Stanford. And with Hand out, Fred Payne entered the game as the only BC player averaging double figures on the season who's healthy.
I'll say this about this Boston College team, though. Like, they've struggled to penetrate this zone on the offensive end of the floor. There's not a ton of quit with this guy.
No.
It's like Earl Grant. the competitiveness that this team plays with, even when they're down 25 points, they're still going after offensive rebounds. And it's been tough for Earl, right? He's from the South. He goes up to Boston College, recruiting a different area of the country.
2 years ago, had a 20-win team, and a team that had some real pieces. Jaden Zachary, who was a force for Clemson last year. Quentin Post, who's in the NBA.
It's hard. Boston College is a tough job. Point blank, period.
And so much in today's climate, it's about the money.
It is.
What sort of resources do you have? How much do you have to spend on players? And that was part of the challenge coming off that 20-win season. BC could not retain a lot of its key guys who you would have hoped would come back because they were outbid by other teams. And that is just the marketplace. That is the world of college sports these days, whether you like it or not. And there are some coaches who didn't want to deal with that reality.
No longer here.
No longer here.
Meanwhile, SMU just had a handful of donors donate $50 million. So I recognize that at halftime.
50-5-0.
And a former president sitting to my left.
George W. Bush, a man who frequents SMU games, presidential library on campus. No good by Payne. And Pierre got a hand on it. There he is, W. Tell you what, in terms of sports moments for presidents, 2001, first pitch at Yankee Stadium.
Still get chills. Unbelievable. Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. Derek Jeter told him, hey, it better be a strike. These fans will boo you, and I mean, he delivered.
Absolutely.
Steger from the corner. Payne, no good. Toombs, the rebound, taken away. Hastings, the follow. The other one on the golf course. When he called out his own drive, I thought that was tremendous. Former owner of the Texas Rangers as well. And Toombs and O'Neal.
The bench has been good today.
Have given this bench some punch, especially in a game where Boopie Miller had some foul trouble. Steger, homecoming for him.
It's just been a tough game. I thought they opened up well, but you talk about what's sustainable for certain teams and certain offenses. For Boston College, hitting a ton of threes as Steger's dad there in the crowd. And Steger's entire high school is here as well as a ton of aunts. Went to Jeswood High School here in Dallas. I think he's a talented kid. I think his best basketball is way out ahead of him. But he's got good size, good wingspan, shoots it pretty well. And his brother over in the corner, very proud of him.
Boopie Miller picks up his fourth. You watch what Earl Grant has done with Fred Payne, taking a player who was really known as a defensive stopper up until this season and now has become one of the most improved players in the ACC. And then you watch what could be down the road for a guy like Steger, should he stay, a freshman who was only playing about 10, 11 minutes a game. But you mentioned physical player, 6'5", can shoot the three, and
needs to gain weight.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost, especially the way college basketball is right now with so many players staying in college and transferring in.
This is a tough matchup for Steger. Yigitoglu using the size.
He could put on 50 pounds. He's still giving up a good amount of size to Yigitoglu, but no, he's got talent. And the thing is, do you hang around? That's the biggest point right now. Do you hang around long enough to develop your game, or are you chasing the minutes immediately, which, I don't know Caleb Steger all that well personally, but overall of college basketball, not a ton of guys are hanging around.
Well, that speaks to player development, the teams that can keep their core intact. There is always value in that. We remind you that tonight after Our quadruple header on ACCN. The Nothing But Net crew breaks down the day in the ACC. Highlights and analysis of every men's game. Stanford, Cal to follow, and of course, a big game tonight in the nation's capital, Michigan and Duke. Part of a weekend where the 4 teams on Joe Lunardi's one line all play each other. Arizona, Houston, and then Duke, Michigan, all 4 projected 1 seeds. You almost feel like it is maybe a dress rehearsal for the Final Four. And Ishroff, Terrence Oglesby, Steger on the drive, and 2 for the Dallas native. His cheering section likes it.
Quick 5 in a row for young Steger. You see the quick twitch though, right? I mean, rangy in terms of his legs. He's strong. Need to find him again here.
Asamoah's 3, back iron. Now you look at the score, T.O. SMU's got 84. Good chance to get 90. Washington fouled on the alley-oop attempt. And it doesn't even feel like they've broken a sweat.
No, it doesn't. This SMU team in the second half has been terrific.
3:10 left in this one.
And in the second half especially, their defense has allowed them to get out in transition. And Jermaine O'Neal Jr., player of the game today, and rightfully so, has benefited. Why? Well, because SMU's got out in transition. He's been able to attack closeouts quickly, and he's been decisive in his actions. Shot the ball really well.
And tonight's player of the game brought to you by Hardee's.
Love Hardee's.
You love the biscuit, you were telling me.
Mega fan of Hardee's breakfast biscuits. Loaded omelet, sign me up twice.
Shameless, but I'll give it to you.
This has been a thorough beating in the second half. 46-29 in favor of SMU. This zone defense completely changed the complexion of this ball game. Put Boston College on their heels. And their activity level with these athletes that they have for the Mustangs are spectacular.
Well, you know a little something about Mustangs, and you've been in town for a few days. That is Maria Oglesby, your wife. Give people an idea of what she was doing in Fort Worth this weekend.
She's cutting cattle is what she's doing. She's running them up and down the fence. It's my lovely wife. She's very talented. She works really hard on it, and she's currently driving home from Dallas back to South Carolina. She asked if I was driving with her. I said absolutely not.
Hang on a second. So you came down with her.
I came
She
early.
is driving back, and you are flying back.
She had been there for about 10 days. She had been there for 10 days. I offered to fly her down, and she politely declined because she had to get our horse. Pepperoni, the horse name's Pepperoni. My man is an incredible horse, but my wife is a very talented woman as far as horse riding is concerned. I'm very proud of her. And Maria Oglesby.
So you explained what was happening in that picture for the uninformed audience.
Sure.
Cutting cattle.
So she has to box the cattle. And what that means is basically on the baseline, she has to play defense on the cow going back and forth inside the free throw line on the other side.
And it's man-to-man, not zone.
It's man-to-man. It's not zone. And then she has to run the cow up the sideline, turn it back, and then put the cow in a figure 8. So a lot goes into this. Her preparation is incredible, and didn't do quite as well as what she had hoped, but she's won a lot of competitions regionally that qualified for the World Championships in Fort Worth. So I've been here since Thursday, able to watch her and support her, and she's been really incredible. Heck of a mother. And anytime I get a chance to support her, I do that.
Yeah, like letting her drive home by herself.
But that's on her. That's a different deal. I'll die on that hill, Anish. Like I offered to fly her down.
I'm just worried about you on the back end.
No,
that's
we're okay.
all.
Well, this is my way of equalizing this. No, she decided she wanted to drive the horse down, That sounds like a her issue. I said, okay. I'm flying home tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.
I wish you luck.
Yeah, doghouse may or may not be waiting for me on the way home.
Comfortable couches?
That comfortable couch.
Now,
no, very, very appreciative of her and what she's allowed me to do basically this entire season. There's a lot of travel, as you know, and it takes a toll on our families. So to be able to come and show her, or to support her, has been awesome.
All kidding aside, tremendous accomplishment to be able to compete at that level. A lot of backups in here for SMU. Are you any good on a horse? Can you hold your own?
Not like she can.
Okay.
I'm more of a trail ride guy, just to make her happy, but by and large, no, that's her deal. And she's very talented. I do not have that in my system.
If you couldn't tell, it's 91-67 with about a minute to go. Stanford Cal follows our game, and then nothing but net will wrap up the day. An and one chance for Boston College. BC staring at an 8th straight loss. They are staring at a 17th consecutive ACC road loss. The last time BC won a true ACC road game, March 9th, 2024, almost 2 years ago. That was at Louisville.
Kenny Payne.
In the waning days of the ill-fated Kenny Payne era.
Man, how things have changed for Louisville. I mean, Pat Kelsey, they play a certain style, a little bit like SMU, up-tempo, high-octane, a lot of threes.
Pierre knocks down the three. Chance Pierre with his first career field goal. Only had 1 point on the season entering play, a redshirt freshman. Here's Steger. Try to get one more for his contingent that's here. Knocked out of bounds. Oh, for SMU, this was a game where BC led for a good bulk of that first half, and then an 11-0 run to close the half, and then they put this game away in the second half. They showed a lot of maturity, especially given the magnitude of Tuesday's game against Louisville.
Absolutely. They needed to show up and win. SMU, they were favored in Kim Palm statistics by about 16. That matters if they end up taking away this game by 24 points. Really solid performance by SMU, especially on the defensive end of the floor in the second half with that zone.
They outscored BC 54-34 in the second half. SMU shoots 56% from the field. They're now 15-2 at home. They've won back-to-back games, one win away from